What's up? We're back in the home country. Yo, how you doing, everyone? It is great to have you here. Welcome back. A little bit higher. Okay, there we go. So, up, everything positioned nicely, everything working. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Good to have you here for today's live stream, live from the Netherlands. Good to have you here. And it's going to be a live stream of just shy of 30 minutes because I have to go. I have an appointment with friends for the remainder of the day. I just wanted to provide an update and share some of my thoughts, which include the weekly, the daily, and the local move to the upside so far. So, yeah, I know, right, Jota? It is. I mean, I don't know. I found the songs, and I never changed them. It's a great introduction to the live stream, you know, a little bit of hype. No, thank you, Guacamole. And yes, I do feel better. I had a good sleep last night. I arrived quite late, gotta say, in the Netherlands, but I had a good night of sleep and fully recovered. So back to the old me. So yeah, thanks, man. Francisco, Eva, welcome. Good to have you here. Eva, I guess you're back in Lithuania now, right? Of course, you were in France for a few weeks. Mark, welcome. Back to Mark Dutch instead of Dutch Digital. Bina, welcome. Abid. The new thumbnails are looking so much better. All the brand colors are present. Thank you, Abid. And I am going to copy your comment because the one that makes the thumbnails is Jeroen. I'm not sure if Jeroen is here, but he is the one that like always thinks about improvements for the thumbnails. And yeah, he created this design. He shared it in a private channel in Discord with some of the mods, and the feedback was very positive. And yeah, here we are. So I'm very happy with the thumbnails as well. It's a nice gradient. It's also better to have less text on the thumbnails, and if you want to have more text, just put it in the title, but not everything on the thumbnail, you know. So and that's like sometimes I like to have too much text on the thumbnail. So yeah, it's a nice approach to have very little text on the thumbnail, but of course it has to bring the message and then the title. It's a good thumbnail. I agree. Yeah, it's brilliant. Parames, thank you. Maybe a band-aid. How are you doing? Evacuation number 2. Damn, man, it's great. Like in the US, the hurricane season is on. I guess. I mean, like maybe a band-aid is second hurricane in a matter of weeks now. Stay safe, man. We still didn't we gotta put something in the agenda, maybe a band-aid, like actually like literally like plan a time and a date. Also in the upcoming weeks I have enough time to plan a meeting, man. Sam, welcome. Par, how you doing? How you doing? Charbel. And we go down. Paulo, Asa, Guacamole, Bueno, David, Gabriel, close for my plan. 45 days to see 54K, then 68, and after that, Bitcoin at 30K. Shoo, imagine. JP, welcome. Love the music. Thanks, David. Alimo, welcome. Chicken soup. No, I actually didn't have any chicken soup. I just had bread in the Netherlands when I came home here. Some midnight bread. But having some low pyramide always helps, no, Mark? Pleasure, Eva. Always a pleasure. Matthias, welcome from Argentina. Have a nice day and good trades. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It is tricky price action. Right? It's not been very clear and nice, but I do have some thoughts to share, and hopefully in a way they are helpful. So I always wake up to your stream. Good morning, Ayana. And hopefully, if you wake up and one of the first things you see is the live stream, hopefully it's a good start of your day as well. And you are energized and ready for the rest of the day. So welcome, Ayana. Ayana Sunshali. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. True Earthman, welcome. South Carolina, Florida is going to be needing some help. I heard, yeah. It's crazy, man. All the hurricanes and herring. Yeah, I bet, Mark. I needed a Mark Dutch Pijler. The house getting hit by another one tomorrow. It seems like weather guy said evacuate, so doing it. Better be safe than sorry, man. Shit, what a crazy time in the US. So stay safe. Maybe a band-aid with the hurricane there. Martin, welcome. Okay, let's start. As mentioned, I don't have too much time. Let me double check the time that we have just to make sure that I align everything correctly. So yeah, about like 20 minutes. That's enough. I mean, there's not like too much to share. I mean, there is. I mean, I always have stuff to talk about. But let me remove this and this as well. I just want to cover very shortly the higher probabilities here. So, lol. Thank you, Mark. Elliott wave starts now. Exactly. Yeah, cheers, Guacamole. It's a pleasure, guys. It's a pleasure. I'm happy you're here. So, okay. Where is my weekly time frame? So what I shortly want to do, I know, you guys know the weekly and the daily, but just very shortly cover one daily or one weekly, which is this, one daily, and then the local time frame. I just want to talk about the higher probability scenario. So on the weekly time frame, right, highest probability is an impulse. The reason, by the way, I want to cover the weekly, the daily, and then we zoom in is because we always got to keep in mind the bigger context. And the fact that price here has been ranging for a very long time, and there are opportunities for, hey, the low might be in here, right? It's interesting, like the directional bias on a weekly time frame is to the upside, right? The trend is to the upside. So even though maybe as a trader you're very active on a 15-minute time frame or maybe on a 1-hour time frame, I do think it's good to keep in mind the higher time frame as well and the bigger trend, no? So on the weekly time frame, the highest probability scenario is what you see in the chart. So here we have our wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a conservative scenario because your most bullish scenario is a double 1, 2, which is this one. But that's for another time. That's only going to be very relevant if we continue pushing him. So your higher probability scenario is the impulse you see on my chart. Now the common target here for your wave 4, 23605, 57,142.8, target for 5, 81k to 129k. Now what is interesting with this scenario is the base channel. This is a channel that is taken from the low to the low of 2 to the high of 1. What you want to see is wave 3 move out, wave 4 comes back, right? What you don't like to see though in this scenario is wave 4 hitting the lower trend line of the channel, which currently is positioned at 46.9k. And every week we spend up here, the channel moves up till at a certain moment, this channel is going to move above the recent low. Now that means that if price would move down here, hits the channel, this scenario has low probabilities and the double 1, 2 will have a higher probability because that's then your new bullish scenario, 1, 2, 1, 2 continuation. However, currently highest probability, also based on the time of the local range here, but just higher probability is looking for a wave 4. but we don't want to hit the lower trend line. So the longer we range here, it increases probabilities of, well, we might actually have a low on our hands here, finish our 4, and then look for a 5. No? But by all means, highest probability, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Target area for 4. So far, so good. Nicely respected. Invalidation 37.7. Target is on the chart. Right? In this scenario, we expect all-time highs to be taken. If we then go to the daily time frame, then the highest probability scenarios on the daily are scenarios where price is taking out this high. And we have the diagonal, which is also actually your higher probability but still conservative scenario. Reason is that it is conservative is because after you take the high one more time, you then drop in a 2 and then move up. Your more bullish alternative is a double 1, 2. And then you just continue. But in both cases, you take out the high and then you take it from there. Now, the reason also why the probabilities for this scenario or for scenarios taking out the high at the moment are higher is because of CVD. It's not necessarily very clear locally, and I'll explain in a second based on Elliott waves here, right? There's definitely the potential of a bigger 3 wave. It's just that we have bullish CVD on a 4-hour/daily time frame, which is something that's important in my judgment with Elliott waves as well. So I keep it in mind. But here we have the bullish scenario 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Preferably though, your wave 4 is longer in time, meaning preferably you get a bigger 3-wave structure down, right? Because this move, if this is 4, that is a very short wave 4. Well, in time compared to the length in time of 1, 2, and 3, this move down is very short. So preferably you get a bigger 3-wave structure in your wave 4, which has to be a zigzag family structure. So 5, 3, 5, WXY, doesn't matter, a 3-wave move. And at the moment on the daily, you can clearly see this is not a 3-wave structure, at least on a daily time frame, right? 3, 3, 3, question mark. No? Your bearish scenario is obviously continuation to the downside, invalidating the diagonal. Same is true, right? Also here, invalidation. So the invalidation is similar. And if we then go to the more local time frame, then and this is something that I wrote in like this morning to silver as well, because I did do some updates in the morning for silver. This move to the upside here is incredibly messy. It is not easy to count this as an impulsive structure. If you want to be very bullish and this is your low and you move up impulsively for your either diagonal wave 5 or you continue in a bigger wave 3 in that case, no? You need to start with an impulse to the upside, which means an impulsive structure, which means either a very clear 5-wave move, a diagonal, or a multi 1-2, right? Now, when we look at this structure to the upside on a 1 hour, if we want to count this impulsively, meaning a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then not that one, then this would be your count. However, problem, there's two. Number one, this wave 1 is really weird. Lots of overlap in this move to the upside. This here looks best as a diagonal itself. Correction and a second leg up. How do we count all of this as a wave 1? because wave 1 has to be a 5-wave structure. So somehow you need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. But your wave 3 has so much overlap that it makes more sense to look at this as either a 3-wave structure, or this is corrective in a running triangle, A, B, C, D, E, right? A running triangle. And then you have your second leg up. But it's not great to count an impulse. Second, on the in the high here, and this is I'll come back to this at the end because it has an impact on probabilities. The high here, I mean, if we want to count this as an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where is our wave 4? No? It's very clearly a 3-wave structure to the upside. It's difficult to count it as anything else, unless you try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then your 1 and 4 overlap, which is only allowed in a diagonal. And then you would have some very big expanding diagonal, which is very weird. But a wave 5 in an impulse needs to be a 5-wave structure, not a 3-wave structure, right? So an impulse to the upside, it's not really that great. And then we have a diagonal to the upside, and a diagonal would not yet be finished. In that case, you would then have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5. But as you can see, purely based on my drawing, this is also an expanding diagonal. But an expanding diagonal is very rare, never preferred, unless everything else fails. So there's not great probabilities for a diagonal. And then you have a multi-1-2, which is your final option. And a multi-1-2 would be to count this as a wave 1, right? Then you need a 2 here, 1, 2, and then another 1, 2, and 1, 2, and more 1, 2s, and eventually you pump up, no? Now, for the people with an eye for detail, by the way, you cannot have a triangle in a wave 2. So you can't have a wave 1 here, and then A, B, C, D, E in a 2 and continue. Triangles not allowed in 2, only in B's, X, and all that stuff. Y, Z. So you then need to have 1, 2. This then has to be another 1, 2. Then you need another 1, 2, and like it's a mess. It's a mess. Your last wave 1 is really big. Your middle wave 1 is very small again. So it just does not look good. It is not good Elliott waves. It's not good structures. It's annoying. So when we count this structure to the upside, the probabilities are higher. And I've been saying this for a bit already, like for a while, the probabilities are higher that this stuff here is corrective, not impulsive. Now, it's all probabilities, right? There's never 100% probabilities and 0% probabilities, but from a probabilities perspective, this structure here counts better as a corrective structure. And maybe it's not yet finished because of a 3-wave ending, right? So having a 3-wave structure up, finish a move up with a 3-wave structure is only possible in a zigzag family structure. So W, X, Y, X, Z, and then this is your Z, for example, right? So then you have W, X, ABC, yeah, W, X, Y, X, Z. That would like be your way to end this. But by all means, outside of, because that's also a rare structure, but outside of what's rare, what's common, and all that shit, this move up here counts very difficult as an impulsive structure. It counts better as a corrective structure. And the fact that it counts better as a corrective structure increases the probabilities to still take out the low, and as a bare minimum, continue ranging, instead of it being an impulse. Yeah. And that is like, and I can go in detail, like for the people that like a little bit more detail. This morning I had a little look, like, okay, if we would do WXY, then wave C needs to be a 5-waver, but it's a 3-wave, right, based on the local structure. So then you need a WXY XZ as explained. If you have an ABC, diagonal in A, running triangle B, and an expanding diagonal C, but an expanding diagonal is also very rare, so that also doesn't look good. Impulse to the upside also looks shit. What do we have here? Oh, this is a double 1-2 to the downside, by the way. This is your most bearish scenario. Invalidation is 62.8. You do have bearish CVDs here, by the way. So that is why that is an interesting idea. And another reason I had the potential, at least, for a double 1-2 is because on a 5-minute time frame, this move down here, right? If counted, there's definitely the possibility here to count it as a 1-2, 1-2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, which would be an impulse to the downside. Now, if this is an impulse to the downside, it has to be a wave A, C, or 1. Now, if this is a wave C, this has to be wave A, but then your wave C is incredibly short compared to a very big A, lowers the probabilities. So therefore, there's the potential for a double 1-2. Invalidation is very clear. So it's something I keep an eye on locally. And finally, this high, right, is looking like a 3-waver. And this is interesting. So a 3-wave structure to the upside, creating a high, also on high volume, right? Think of a B or an X. However, if the high is a wave B or X, this move down has to be a wave C or a wave Y. Wave C needs to be a 5-wave structure. Meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. We have a 5-wave structure, but shit, we took the low. So if you label the high here as a B in a flat A, B, C, which is corrective, would increase probabilities to take the high, you wanted this to be your end. You can't end a 5-wave structure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, it's not an impulsive number, right? You need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave structure, finished. 3 is longer than 1, so it's allowed. And then preferably that was your end, and you look for 1, 2, and then continuation, but we didn't. Instead, we took the low. But now we can't end something here. And the only way to count this as a 5-wave structure now would be to have some sort of a diagonal. But this diagonal is always going to be expanding, never preferred unless everything else fails. And then the alternative, right? So what I'm talking about is if this is a B, right, or an X, the probabilities are higher, this is corrective, and you move up to take the high. However, if the probabilities are not great for this move down to be either a C or Y, the probabilities increase that this high is the end of a structure, right? And not a wave B or X. So that's what we're figuring out. So this being a B is not great. Now, if this is an X, right, except for expanding diagonal stuff, but you know my thinking about it. If this is an X, then you need a wave Y to the downside. Now this is W, X, and then you have a wave Y. Your W is not a flat, it's a zigzag structure, meaning wave Y cannot be a zigzag, can only be a flat or a triangle. Well, there's clearly no triangle going on here. There's also no flat going on here because price needs to retrace 90%. So it is tricky to end this move or label this move as a B or an X at the moment. Which also again would fit with the bears, where it matches the assumption that what we have over here is corrective and not impulsive, with a potential Y or Z or zigzag family structure ending at that particular high. But even unrelated to the detailed count, probabilities at the moment are higher. This is corrective. This is corrective mess. It's messy, right? A very, very messy price action, lots of overlap. And I think it's better to just observe it like, can we count this as an impulse? Well, I covered it, impulse diagonal double 1, 2, right? If not a clear favorite or a clear scenario with the highest probabilities, it's just difficult to give it like the highest probabilities, no? So probabilities are higher for it to be corrective. Now the final thing, So on the weekly time frame, probability is higher for the bulls. On the daily also, mainly supported by bullish CVDs, which is something I keep an eye on. Locally though, probability is higher. The move up is corrective, increasing probabilities to still take that low. And or at bare minimum continue ranging. And oh yeah, and finally we have CVD. I gotta go very soon as well, but with regards to CVD, we have bullish CVD here on the 4 hour. We had it here, played out, local bull CVD, right? Everything played out, and now we have bullish CVD here. That's the one thing that's bothering me, is that we have bullish CVD here, as well as locally, while price moved up here, we had bullish CVD. So there's absorption of market shorts with limit longs. Now, one of the bearish scenarios that you can have here, especially in a multi 1-2, would be a flat A, B, C. Take out the high, fake everyone out, move down. Where this is then a 3, like a 3 WXY double zigzag, take the high, right? And then you move towards the downside. But then you still take out that low. And that's what I'm talking about. So, yeah, that's the probabilities at the moment. I mean, move up is very messy. And therefore, probabilities would be higher for price to still take out that low at some point. Now, that being said, I got to go. Yeah, thanks, Sibel. Thank you. I will reply. So if you have questions, write me please in the comments or in Discord. But I gotta go. It's a short stream, I know, but you know, life happens. I got an appointment. So summary: weekly time frame remains bullish, right? No reason to be bearish there. On the daily time frame, we have CVDs very much supporting movement to the upside. And locally, this move up is very messy. Higher probabilities at the moment. This is a corrective, like shit stuff, whatever. Even though probabilities are high to take this low here, we do have bullish CVDs, and that is what's bothering me. Also, with regards to finding great entries for positions. Resistance to the upside, daily naked point of control would actually be interesting. 62,975. Plus, we also have over here the point of control at 63.7 of this range. So those are the two areas of resistance directly to the upside. If you do take out this high, I don't know. I don't have a lot of stuff going on really. To the downside, we hit the daily as support. So that's now your current support, and then we have a daily naked point of control. Yeah, well, you see everything on the chart here. So there you go. Okay, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Tomorrow I will be live again. I won't be able to provide you with another update today because I have to go. I won't be home for the rest of the day/night. So I will see you again tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out again. If you have questions, write it in the comments or Discord. I will have an opportunity later to answer you. So thanks for being here, and see you at the next one.